and he worked on it. And a few months later, he literally within 4 weeks he done about 10K in sales just from his email list alone. So that's just one example of how email can really kind of push your business forward.
Not, I think for me anyway, and maybe other people are similar, it's not putting that pressure on yourself, because sometimes, and I even do it now sometimes, I'll go to email them and I'm like, do they want this email? Do they want...
Thank you so much for being on the channel. My subscribers already know who you are, but for those watching who may have found this video by some other means, could you give us a little bit of an intro in terms of what you do, who you are, and what you're about?
So, hello, my name is VeenaV, and I'm a video coach, and I just help business owners. I'm obsessed with helping people to get visible online, because I truly believe that everyone has got some talent in them, and it just needs to be tapped into. And I think YouTube and all these other social media platforms is the place to show off your talent. And yeah, it's all about I'm just all about getting people confident, getting them to spread their message, because I think a lot of the time, and I'm sure you experience this, Sam, with some of your clients as well, is that it's that fear that they need to overcome. Like, they've got the knowledge, they know maybe what they want to do, but they don't know how to put themselves online, put themselves on YouTube or other social media platforms and literally get visible. So that is what I do.
Awesome, 100%. And we've kind of known each other for a while now. We've done quite a lot of videos together now, that I'm kind of losing count, but I'll leave all of them in the description, because I feel like a lot of them, if not all of them, kind of relate to what we're going to be speaking about, which is something that some people might actually be going through at the moment. We're currently filming this kind of during the whole lockdown in the UK, and there are people who have potentially lost a lot of stuff, lost their businesses, maybe unemployed, not really sure where they're going to go next, and maybe they're thinking about, starting a business. And I was thinking about this myself, like, what would I do if everything I was doing online just suddenly wasn't there anymore? It just stopped. How would I pick myself back up? So that's kind of what I want to touch on. You've managed to build a platform for yourself and a business for yourself, but let's make believe. Obviously, God forbid this ever happens, but but let's make believe like everything was gone, or you just wanted to start all over again. The first question is, like, what would you do, like, if you had to just start everything again?
Do you know what, the kind of synchronicity in what we're talking about right now is that I actually feel that I do start again sometimes on a weekly basis, because I think for me, and Sam knows this about me, is that even though I get myself out there and I'm visible, I'm on YouTube and all the rest of it, it's my main issue is being consistent. So every time I kind of step away from social media and I don't post for a week, or sometimes in my case it's been a few months, sometimes I feel like I'm starting again all the time, which in a way is sometimes good, because you get a fresh perspective then. And I think to kind of answer your question more directly, for me, I wish from the beginning that I had an email list, because when I was growing my YouTube channel, especially right at the beginning a few years ago, I wasn't directing people anywhere. It was literally like giving people all the value, which is obviously great. We need to do that on YouTube, but I had no system, I had no strategy. And I wonder, all those people that had subscribed in the past and watched me, like, if I had just got their email address, we could have had a more, intense relationship together, because I think that's so important. I think everyone needs to do that from the start, is have an email list, because we don't own YouTube. They could change something tomorrow and, my channel could not be seen by hardly anyone. Like, we just don't know. So, but with an email list, you're always going to own that. So for me, it's definitely starting that list right from the beginning.
I'm so happy you said that, because I speak about email obsessively on this channel, because I feel like it's such a great tool. And there's anytime I put out a video on email marketing, it doesn't get any views. And I did a live not too long ago, which kind of helped me to understand why people are not watching that video like when it comes out. And someone was saying, you know, people don't open emails, or I don't want to be spamming people or something like that. But at the same time, it's like you're missing out on a huge opportunity if you're not doing it. And I actually have a friend who also does social media in a completely different niche. But I was speaking to him and I was saying, man, you gotta do email. Like you've got this big following, you should be collecting emails and, you know, sending out messages to your list. And he worked on it, and a few months later, he literally within 4 weeks he done about 10K in sales just from his email list alone. So that's just one example of how email can really kind of push your business forward.
I think for me anyway, and maybe other people are similar, it's not putting that pressure on yourself, because sometimes, and I even do it now sometimes, I'll go to email them and I'm like, do they want this email? Do they want? But now I've got into the mindset of people, even if you send someone 3 emails a week, they might not see any of them, or they might open one of them. And for me, again, it's all about that perception and our own beliefs. So my belief before was like, okay, I've got this email list and I've always been bad now at emailing them. How can I change my perception of that? And for me, I'm thinking, if they just see my name popping up in their address box, even if they're not opening the email, they might see my name and think, do you know what? I subscribed to her 6 months ago, and I haven't watched any of her videos. That might be the tipping point for them to come back to my YouTube channel. You just don't know the psychology of what can happen from that one email you send to people as well.
Incredible. And I think it's good. I like that you mentioned that first as well. So I think that that's a really great first step. If someone has 0 subscribers, followers on whatever platform that they're choosing to literally start their business from scratch, like think of starting your email list as well. Like how can you, when you do start getting followers, what's your process to get people on your list? Because you don't want to get to 5,000 followers and you haven't been building your list, and that's so many people that you could have had on there. Exactly. So that's one thing that if you could go back in time, you probably could have changed. So what we've spoken about emails. So how do you get people onto your email list? So what's the process of that?
So I predominantly use my YouTube channel. So I have lots of different videos like about Zoom or TikTok or YouTube tips for beginners. And at the end of, actually not just at the end, we'll talk about that in a minute as well, but usually at the end of that video is like what we call a call to action. So once they've watched that video, what do we want the audience, what do we want the viewer to do next? We want them to download something from us so we can get them onto our email list and build that relationship with them on there. So for me, it's giving away like a free PDF. So for one of my TikTok videos, I put together a PDF for, it's simple, TikTok tips for beginners, created it in Canva for free, hooked it up to my software I use, which is called ClickFunnels. So as soon as someone goes from my YouTube channel, clicks on the link, they can put in their email address, and I get their email address and they get the freebie from me.
Cool. So the one thing that I kind of want to outline here is like giving away something of value that's kind of like related to the content that you're putting out. So whatever idea you have for your business, your online business, and if you're putting content out on social media, you know, it's key to think about what's the most valuable thing you could give away that will entice people to be like, oh cool, I need to download that, I need to get a copy of that, or I need to be a part of that kind of thing.
Definitely, and I think it's taking time to make that freebie as well, because I know some people, when I was first getting into this whole email marketing, I thought, let me see what other people are doing. So I download people's freebies and I was like, oh, I was like, what is this? So I really believe it's like giving your best stuff for free, because if they get that really detailed PDF on something, even if it's a check, like some of my stuff are checklists, but it's a really good checklist that will actually help people to do a live video or whatever it is, that they'd be like, this was really good. Like, again, it's for me, it's all about giving that value and then just making them think, okay, well, I want to go back to a YouTube channel now and watch some more videos. It's kind of that you've got to take people on that journey. And again, going back to the topic of this video, I don't think I ever did that when I started my business. It was just like, give them a freebie, okay, bye, that kind of thing. But now I'm just making sure everything's working in more of a system as well.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry, can I just also mention, I said about the call to action. So I used to only say it at the end of a video, and then I realised a lot of people don't watch your videos until the end. When I looked at my analytics, I was like, oh, people don't watch the video to the end. So now I always will say the link to my freebie at the beginning of the video as well.
Oh, that's some great tips. I mean, I always have when I was thinking about changing up my freebie for my YouTube channel, I was thinking even though it's digital, I want it to be somewhat physical so that I can actually have it in my videos as well, so that people can see it.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so it's always behind me. I bought a little stand thing for it to stand up on. So even though it's not a physical book, it's like people can see it. And I thought if people can see it, then they're like, wait, what's that thing? Like I want a copy of that kind of thing. So it makes it a little bit more tangible, even though it's not tangible. And I think we was even speaking about this as well beforehand, which was like creating different opt-ins, so different freebies based on the content. So if your YouTube channel touches on different topics, then you might want to create a specific freebie for the different topics you're talking about.
Definitely, yeah. And that, because again, I've tried it on my YouTube channel where it might be, I don't know, like how to create a Facebook group or something like that. But then at the end, I'll be like, oh, so what's also good with Facebook is if you want to grow your YouTube channel, go and sign up for the webinar. But that hasn't really, I can see my stats and I'm like, oh, no one's really signing up from my webinar from that. But I've noticed that PDFs, when it's something just so, because I think when you get people to sign up to a webinar, it's more time they have to invest. In webinars, we all know they might be like an hour long and they've got to put a time and a date in, and I think it's a bit more of a longer process. But with a PDF, it's all they got to do is download it and they get it instantly.
Yeah.
So it's all about testing as well, isn't it? And see what works for your audience as well.
Exactly. I mean, one thing, email is so huge, but one last thing I'll say on it as well is like you can actually embed links to either your own product or service or to affiliate products.
Yes.
And so my very first freebie, when I first started my channel, I was only speaking about eBay. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so for the first I think maybe 6 months, it was predominantly just eBay, and then I got bored. And so my freebie was I think it was how to make money while you sleep on eBay. So like the framework behind it was I would wake up every morning, check my PayPal account, and I'd made like 15 sales or 20 sales or something like that. So it was like a phenomenon for me making money even when I was asleep. So I thought I'm going to turn this into an ebook. But within the ebook, I had affiliate links in there as well. So people would read it and see all of the softwares I was using, and they would go and they would buy that, and I was just making kind of income that way. But if you might not be an affiliate, but that might be a link to your product or to your service. So you can like leave those links within your giveaway as well.
Definitely. And again, this is something I didn't do from the beginning. I've only literally probably done this in the last 8 months. And even now I'm trying to redo one of my pages on my website because so many people ask me about what I use. And I thought, hold on, I'm sending people what I use and it's not an affiliate link. So I've changed all my links now, and I'll have a page up on my website soon. Like when I go out and meet, when we can go out, go back out into the world and meet people, I can just give them my website link now, and I'm going to have everything on there. And I'm also going to embed my YouTube video. So I did a video recently about my webinar software, Easy Webinar. So on that page, I'm now going to send people, there'll be a video explaining how to use the software, but then a free 14-day trial, which is my affiliate link. And again, I wish I did that from the start because I wouldn't have been that, I'd be like, oh, I haven't got any money, because I would have been making money.
Exactly.
And it's yeah, I feel like kicking myself sometimes, to be honest, but we all learn.
We all learn. We get there in the end, and that's the whole thing. So secondly, so we've got our freebie, but we've still got 0 followers on whatever platform. So what advice, or what would you do if all of a sudden all of your social platforms were at 0, nobody knew VeenaV and who you were? How would you build your brand up again?
So this is now relating back again to my own YouTube journey, which I don't know if it is similar to you, Sam, but again, I was just putting content out there on YouTube, no strategy. And then one of my videos, I think after about 2 years, just randomly picked up, and I was getting loads of subscribers, loads of views. And I thought, oh, what's going on here? Then I looked at the video and I was like, oh, people are searching for this video. And again, it wasn't, I think when I first started this channel, it was tips to do with how to get into the media industry, because I used to be a radio presenter. So I was trying to help other people get into the media industry. And then I did a review of like I can't even remember what camera. I think it was like a Fuji film camera.
I think I've seen that. I think I've seen that one.
Something
Yeah.
like that. And then that's when I realised, oh, if you want to grow on YouTube, you need to do videos that people are searching for. And this is what I always try and hone in now, because still so many people don't realise this, is that when you start a YouTube channel, or even to grow, it's all about what are people searching for if you want to get those views and subscribers in. So if I was starting again, and again, I implement this on my own YouTube channel recently, is making those searchable content ideas. So rather than calling a video, I don't know, vlog number 1, I'm now thinking, okay, what is the actual message of this video? And it's about doing that research. I never did the research before. I would just put a video out. But now I'm much more strategic when I put content out as well.
That's incredible. And I know you started a YouTube channel recently.
Yes.
The podcast. And how did you, so you basically did that. You started from scratch. And
oh my God, yeah. Sam, I completely forgot about that. about that channel. So these tips I'm giving you, they're not fluffy. I actually implemented this stuff on a brand new channel. And the most interesting thing about this channel, I did not tell anybody. Like, I didn't tell anyone on my current channel, like nobody knew. So the amount of subscribers and views I got were from people that did not know who I was. I started it from scratch. But again, it's because I implemented the searchable content, but also what was trending. So that channel was all about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, because they were in the news every day. And I was getting really frustrated. I thought, why is no one talking about these real issues that are going on, like things like, racism and just what was happening in the royal family and how people are getting treated. So I just set up this channel very quickly. I think within 48 hours, I got a few. Oh, Sam, you were on that channel as well.
Yeah.
I got people like Sam on, and other people did a reach out on Facebook to some people, and we just got everything done very quickly. So it proves that these tips, they really do work.
They can work, and I think as well, just like as a little bit of a side note, I was speaking to some of my friends about this, but I think you should always be, in my opinion, at ground zero at something, or next to ground zero. So even if you feel like, you might watch this video, you might start your business, maybe you build your platform on Instagram or YouTube or whatnot, and you feel like on top of the world now, you've got 1 million subscribers. But then there's always going to be something else that you need to tackle. So I feel like start something different when you feel like you've gotten to the top of the mountain. So I've recently, not that I've gotten to the top of the mountain, but I've recently started a podcast on my own as well. And that's something like completely new, out of my comfort zone. And you're kind of building up different platforms. You, just in case anything does happen to your main source of income, you now have extra things going on.
And I do this all the time. I think I probably do it a bit too much. I don't know what it is. I just love that feeling of just starting again and creating. But at the end of the day, I think my plan personally moving forward is like, I think it is so important to concentrate, give all your time and attention to maybe 2 or 3 main things. So for me, it's my current VeenaV YouTube channel. I want to spend more time on my TikTok and actually being consistent with emailing my list. But then it's having these other things in the background that, you know, sometimes you just don't want to have a strategy. Sometimes you just want to put out content because you love it. And I think I don't know what you feel about this, Sam, but sometimes I think that everyone is so obsessed with chasing the views, chasing the subscribers, that they lose their passion and they lose the reason why they started in the first place. So I would also say, like, when you're starting, even write that on a bit of paper, like, what is your purpose? Why are you doing it? Because I think all of us at some point have been like, I need to chase the views. I need to chase that. Why are not enough people subscribing? Why am I not making enough sales in this? And I think once you have your true purpose and passion, like, you'll keep going. So business isn't easy. Like, it isn't this glitzy and glam, like, oh, I made $1 million in a month. The people that have done that, they probably have had like 10 failures before that, but they haven't told you about that. So it's just about putting things in perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's really I would agree with the whole writing it down thing at the beginning and knowing what your goals are. Because there's some people who start on social media because they just have a message that they want to get out there. And then maybe 3 years later, maybe they've got a big audience and they're spreading their message, but they're not doing it full time. And they're like, wait, but that person's doing it full time and I'm not doing it full time. But then they forget, wait a minute, I've actually reached my goal, what my goal was. And I know my goal for my YouTube channel was I wanted to be doing it full time. So I wanted to use it as a machine to help me generate sales for my courses, to help bring business opportunities. And so I optimized it for that, not necessarily the views and the subscribers. So you can kind of like be bogged down by things that weren't necessarily even in your original goal.
Exactly. And I think people slowly realise this, because when you, and I think I messaged you the other day about this, Sam, when I think I was watching another YouTuber's video and I think he was feeling a bit demotivated with his channel, and he had a relatively big channel. I think he had something like 100 or 200,000 subscribers. But because he didn't have any kind of structure or any product or affiliate market, whatever it is in place, I think he was earning like £50 a month or £50 a month or £50 a video from Google AdSense. And I think that's when people get lost as well, because they only think, I can only make money in one way, when there's literally a million different ways to make money from your YouTube channel. And again, I wish I had done that sooner. Implemented. So even telling people that I've got, even now, I haven't like told people that I do YouTube coaching on my own YouTube channel, which I need to mention more. I might send people to go and watch like a webinar which explains it, but sometimes I don't physically say it. Like, oh guys, did you actually know that you can work with me? I think sometimes we forget the basic things. It's about stripping it down, isn't it? Stripping it down and focusing on those core offers that you've got as well.
100%. The last thing that I have here is for those watching this who maybe they are in the situation where maybe because of coronavirus they've lost their job and they're thinking, okay, cool, what do I do now? How do I start this online thing, this online business thing? Or someone who is literally, maybe coronavirus has made them just start thinking about, okay, you know, I have some extra time, let me start online. What advice, what motivation would you give to someone who's just like watching this video, just needing some encouragement?
I think you need to block out all of those voices that are telling you no. That might be yourself, it might be your parents, it might be your friends. I think when other people put fear into you about starting, because you might be really excited now, thinking, yeah, I'm going to start my business, I'm going to do this. And then you'll start telling people. And unfortunately, sometimes those people are projecting their own fear on you. So they might talk you out of that decision. And I want to say to you, if you feel that this is right for you, you have to go for it, because we only live once. Like, my greatest fear is getting to whenever I'm going to die and not trying out all my ideas. I would rather try all my ideas and fail at 99% of them than just having the idea and never actually making it into a reality. So you've got to go for it. And I think at the same time, I don't want to sugarcoat it. You are going to have those days where you feel demotivated, where you think it's not working. But the key is being resilient. The key is to keep going. And we're so blessed right now because we've got so much information. We didn't have this, even when I started in the radio industry many years ago, there wasn't even YouTube. So I couldn't go on YouTube and type in how to become a radio presenter. I just had to figure everything else out, and it took so much more longer than what it takes now. You've got this video. After this video, you can go and watch more of Sam videos. You can go and download free Kindle books. There's so many books out there that can give you advice on how to start a business. It's about putting the time in to do that research and then literally going for it.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Veena, for being on the channel. It's not going to be the last time. It has been the first collab, and it's not going to be the last.
We've done so many collabs together. We will. We aim, I think, for a good 2 a year at the moment. I think we're on track for.
And even coronavirus couldn't stop the collabs coming in. So. So yeah, where can we find you? Your tips. Where are you on social media? And what services do you offer?
So the best place is to go to my YouTube channel, so youtube.com/official VeenaV. I would love to see you over on my TikTok. I'm getting Sam now. Hopefully after this, we'll see Sam on TikTok as well. On TikTok, I'm the VeenaV, and I do YouTube coaching. So I've just opened up a brand new program where I take people from literally zero. So if you're really interested in starting a channel, you haven't started, or maybe you're stuck, I will guide you through that whole process from 0 to 10,000 subscribers. And for that, you can just email me if you want to know more about how to work with me. So it's veena@veenav.com.
Awesome. And I'll be leaving those links in the description down below. So make sure you go and check out Veena's channel, particularly if you are using video. And if you're not using video for your business, then you should be. 100%. It can really, and I don't say this kind of as a cliche, it can literally change your life. So yeah, you should be creating video for your business, and she is incredible at that.
And get over that fear. And I want to emphasize this to people. I started off in radio. I never in my life wanted to show my face on camera, on video. Even when I started YouTube, I was so hesitant to do it. But like Sam said, it has literally changed the course of my life. I never thought I would have a business predominantly running through my YouTube channel. So video is very, very powerful.
Awesome. And I will get onto the TikTok as well. If you see me on TikTok, guys, it's because Veena has persuaded me that that's going to be a really great platform. So yeah, thanks Veena for that tip as well. So yeah, but until next time, guys, make sure you subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon.